Thanks for being with me. I'm Jared Oliver. Over the summer, the fall sports teams have been gearing up for the 2015 season. Football head coach Trent Miles is entering his third season, but one of his key players have been out due to injury. With no further ado, Primetime Sportz starts now. Trent Miles is on the hot seat given the amount of losses last season, finishing with a 1-12 record and losing all 12 games the year before. Joining me now, Primetime Sports correspondent and football analyst David Shilley. David, there wasn't much success last season under Trent Miles for the second year. Why is that so?
Well, first let me say this. Trent Miles is probably on the hottest seat in the entire FBS and not just the Sun Belt Conference. And this guy's only won one game in the past 2 years, and there's no way you have job security with some success like that. So I look at this as half glass full. Okay, he's got starters coming back, and he definitely has a familiarity again. And also this, when he was the head coach of Indiana State, he went winless his first year, won one game the second year, and in the third year he exploded and the team won 6 games. So he first gets to Georgia State, they go winless. Second year, win 1 game, and this year, maybe they'll win 6 games and maybe more. So I look forward to seeing what they've got this year.
What can we expect from the Panthers this season? They have a new revamped defense. They've changed their 4-3 scheme to a 3-4. Mm-hmm. How good can we expect them to be this season?
They should be very good. Offensively, Nick Arbuckle, the quarterback, worked on his mechanics this offseason. He watched some film, figured out that there are some things he needed to work on, throw some less interceptions, and I expect him to have a good year this year throwing the football. Also, coming back, Kyler Neal, running back. They didn't have much of a running game last year, Georgia State didn't, and this is something that they really, really need, okay? They were very one-dimensional last year, and when you're one-dimensional, opponents are going to stop you like it's nothing. So there's that as well, and the defense. The defense is really hungry. They're ready to go after it, and I'm really excited to see what they're going to do.
Thank you, David. Thank you so much. Football is relatively new in the city of Atlanta, aside from Georgia Tech. So what does that mean? Well, the program is still building, but frustration and anticipation of success seems long overdue. The Georgia State Panthers haven't had a winning record since the inaugural season under former head coach Bill Curry. The Panthers may have brought in some acquisitions that could fix their multiple problems for the future success. Back to you, David. Obviously, there are some things that needed to be fixed and revamped. Mm-hmm. So who are some good players that we can look at and say that this team can be refixed and built under better success for this season?
Well, the Panthers went out and got 11 defensive signees, okay? 3 of these guys are defensive linemen. 4 of them are defensive backs, and 4 of them are linebackers. There's one linebacker I want to single out. His name is Chase Middleton. This guy led the entire state of Georgia in solo tackles last year. He had 112 tackles. He also had 2 sacks and 2 interceptions. So this guy, along with all the defensive signees, should develop in this system and become great players on the college level.
Now, we know that the defense has been primarily the focus point in the offseason. Who maybe can be some young talent on the offensive side of the ball that we can show that they may have some immediate impact on the offensive side of the ball?
Well, there's one guy I want to talk about, Ari Wirtz. This guy is 6'4", so he's very tall, and I heard that he catches passes with one hand easily. So I'm very looking forward to that in the passing game. Also, Kendrick Doran, he went to junior college over in California. He just signed over. And he's a big guy. He can help in pass protection for Nick Arbuckle, and he's got some power run game skills. And then, real big guy, Dom Roldan. This guy is 6'6", 350 pounds. He's going to be a wrecking machine in the offensive line. Having him in the trenches is going to be huge for the running game of Georgia State. And he went to Hampton University, which is the school I went to, so I'm very excited to see a former Pirate out there on the field.
All right, David Shilley, thank you so much. Despite all of the deficiencies of last season, there were some bright spots, like wide receiver Donovan Harden. The all-Sun Belt wide receiver, yes, the same guy who caught 4 touchdowns in a single game. But yet it was reported that Harden will be out due to an injury over the summer. Primetime Sports correspondent and football analyst Joey Redmond joins me now. Joey, what can you tell us about this season? How would they compete against other teams knowing that he was such a huge contribution to this football team?
Well, of course, it is very big news for the football team knowing that Harden is going to be out with the season looming really only a week away at this point. Leading receiver Donovan Harden is expected to be out for 6 to 8 weeks after suffering from a broken bone in his foot during what is reported to be a non-contact drill in practice. It's the third injury Harden has had in his time with the Panthers, the first being a knee injury in 2013 that required surgery and a shoulder injury in 2014 that also required surgery. Now, it's also reported that those injuries played no part whatsoever in this newest injury, and they have been completely healed, but it is still going to be the latest test of the team to see if Harden can pull this off. Harden still led the team last season despite his history of injuries with 60 catches, 885 yards, 977 all-purpose yards, and 7 touchdowns, which are top 5 numbers in every category across the Sun Belt Conference.
Now, you mentioned 977 all-purpose yards. Definitely a huge contribution and probably the biggest piece outside of Nick Arbuckle in this offense. How would they stack up against competition in conference and out of conference?
Well, Nick Arbuckle is confident that the team will be able to bounce back from Harden's injury. There are, of course, a lot of young receivers on the team competing for the new position, the highest contributor being Glenn Smith, a sophomore receiver who last season did sort of shadow Harden throughout, and he's also been behind Harden for the early parts of what has been this season, and the Panthers do expect impressive things from the young receiver.
All right, the one and only Joey Redmond. Thank you so much, Joey.
Thank you, Jared.
The 2015 season kicks off here in Atlanta for the Georgia State Panthers in the Georgia Dome against their first out-of-conference opponent against the Charlotte 49ers. Here again, we have David Shilley. David, what does this momentum mean for this game? How important is it for them to win this first game? Despite last year, they won one game, which was the first game. Didn't come easy, but obviously there was no momentum because they lost all of the other games. How important is this first game?
It's very important. It does not matter what sport you play. You always want to start off 1-0. Good thing for Georgia State, they start off 1-0. They've matched their season total for last year in terms of wins. So how are they going to win this game? It's going to take defense, defense, and more defense. These guys allowed over 3,800 rushing yards. That's more than Nick Arbuckle threw for. So that's atrocious. They also allowed over 43 points per game. They gave up 69 to Georgia Southern, 54 to Texas State, and 52 to Arkansas State. So they're going to need to step up. They also got 12 sacks, and that's not enough. You play 12 games to get 12 sacks, you're not going to beat anybody. So I'm looking for somebody to step up. We know Joseph Peterson is there. He's a big guy. He gets a lot of tackles right there from the linebacker position. But I'm looking at Shawanye Lawrence. I'm also looking at McKindy Chariter. He's moving over from linebacker. He's going to play defensive end. He's got a big arm span, so he can swat passes down kind of like J.J. Watt. He can get sacks kind of like the Falcons rookie Vic Beasley. So I'm looking for him to step up. So the defense has to be there. Also, the guy for the 49ers, Khalif Phillips. This dude can run the football. He ran for over 1,400 yards last year and 20 touchdowns. So knowing Georgia State doesn't have a good run defense, or they may have a good one, but they didn't have a good one last year, Khalif Phillips will get a lot of touches for the Charlotte 49ers. So it's going to be interesting to see if Georgia State can stop that rushing attack of Charlotte.
Yeah, well, according to your sentiment, it's obviously apparent that defense is the problem. So what do you think the strategy should be going into this game so they can pull out a win?
First and foremost, stop Khalif Phillips. If you stop him, you make Charlotte go one-dimensional. So if they have to pass the ball, that's perfect. And with Shawanye Lawrence, excuse me, I don't want to mess up his name, but with Shawanye Lawrence out there, hopefully he can get some sacks. If we can get their quarterback on the ground, we're going to win. There's no better way to beat a team by sacking the quarterback.
All right, there we have it. David Shilley, thank you so much. Turning now to basketball, where head coach Sharon Baldwin-Tenner embarks on her 6th season. Tenner recently signed a 3-year extension. New acquisitions for the Lady Panthers hoops team. The season isn't quite here yet, but it's never too late to peek a little bit into the season. Our very own Primetime Sportz correspondent and basketball analyst Rashad Milligan has more on this. Rashad, what can you tell us from outside the sports arena?
The men of the basketball program aren't the only ones to enjoy an eventful summer. Although they didn't take trips to LA for award shows or have flashy draft parties, the women are well on their way to becoming an elite college program.
Overall, we had a lot of new players that came in. We got to work pretty hard in the weight room, and also, you know, a couple hours on the week. In here the last 5 years that have had the opportunity to go play played but have chosen not to play, to maybe go further schooling or maybe get into their profession a little bit early. But you know, it happened really quick. I think you know, it happened in the middle of the summer, where she had some interest in. Obviously, there have been a lot of changes at Georgia, and she had some interest in leaving and coming to Atlanta and coming to Georgia State. She played AAU basketball with a couple players on our team, so she was familiar with them, and you know, it's a great addition to our team. I'm looking forward to having her play.
Coach Baldwin Tenner said this is the best she's ever felt about our program in the last 5 years. So, play ball. Thanks, Jared. Back to you.
A new dynamic for new freshmen on campus. The first 500 freshmen who signs up will get a chance to take the field with the football team in its home opener. This is the kind of access people dream about. Having it, now they're offering it for free for all freshmen. What a cool way to amp up the school spirit, right? A great way to increase the attendance. SGA and the athletic department have teamed up. Primetime Sports correspondent and Kayla Artis reports.
With the first game of the upcoming football season just a week away, SGA has partnered with the athletics department to bring a new experience to freshman Panther fans. The Fan from Day One program is a brand new initiative that gives the class of 2019 the opportunity to interact with the Georgia State football team for the first home game of the 2015 season.
They're going to be able to tailgate with the football team, tailgate with SGA, with SAA, and Spotlight, and then they're going to get a free t-shirt that we designed and athletics sponsored, and then they're going to run in with the football team, but they're going to get recognized.
The hope is that this program will not only bring new Panther football fans to the first home game, but that these students will continue to support the team throughout the season.
Our goal is for them to be fans from day one and to continue supporting the team throughout the 5 home football games.
This is definitely an experience that the freshman class of 2019 will not want to miss.
This is a memory they're going to last a lifetime. I ran into the football team at my school during my first year of college. I think this is a really awesome opportunity, and I hope they love it.
As you can see, SGA is enthusiastic and confident that the Fan from Day One program will be a success. Jared?
All right, Kayla, thank you so much. Last year, the Panthers volleyball season ended in the first round of the Sun Belt Conference against Texas State. It's a new year for the girls, and they're looking to compete at the top of the ranks in the Sun Belt Conference. Primetime Sports correspondent tells us more. Homer, what can you tell us?
With the women's volleyball season set to start on the road, the Panthers were able to add 1 junior, 1 sophomore, and 6 freshmen to their already returning 6 seniors. The freshmen have really opened up the eyes of the upperclassmen with their hard work and dedication, and have also helped set the tone. The Panthers, who are expected to finish 6th in the conference as voted by the Coaches Poll, start their season on the road led by senior and preseason All-American Deidre Bohannon at the Catamount Volleyball Classic, where they will face off against the host Western Carolina, who finished 9-1 last season. It will be a tough battle, but the Panthers will get to show the hard work that they have put in this offseason. Georgia State plays on the road the first 2 weekends before finally hosting Kennesaw State on September 8th at the GSU Sports Arena. Be sure to support your Lady Panthers. Jared?
Thank you so much for being with me. Remember, you can get the latest sports news anytime, gstvonline.org, and follow us on Twitter at Primetime Sports. I'm Jared Oliver, and this is Primetime Sports. Have a great week.